Now you have to remember, people even at home, even if they didn't live at Hungarian drilling is at okay standard, but if we're talking about Polish drilling, where many of them were extremely poor, so they had their own outhouse. They went to the toilet, they closed the door, and they went to the toilet. Here they go on the train, and all of a sudden they're sitting on the train, and they have to go to the toilet in the middle of a bucket. So I've heard from a number of different people about different ideas. I read a testimony last night, and again somebody asked me, do you get paid for us? What happened? So I read this testimony actually this morning on the plane to Paris, to Paris. I read a testimony of a man on a train going to Plasha, and he talks about the fact of how long they were on the train and how the whole train, this whole carriage, stank of urine because the thing had overflowed. People couldn't do anything but urinate on the side of the walls or on themselves. He said he got off the train at Plasha, she arrived to. Okay? Got off the train at Plasha, and in Plasha his whole place was covered with feces and urine. And then we get here. So people go, for instance, if this is in the other part of the camp, take this and not be in the transit area, put it inside the camp. After people have been through the sauna, which is the area where they're shaved, their clothes are taken away from them, and absolutely everything else is taken away from them, and then they're tattooed. And then they're entered into the camp system. Part of that camp system is also going to the bathroom. Well, what do? So you get up in the morning, you're given a very short time to be able to get up before you have to take your bowl call. During that time, you have to get yourself over to the wash area, and you have to be able to wash if you want to wash. I'm going to talk about it in a second. Go to the toilet and get yourself back. Take your coffee, your ersatz coffee, whatever it may be, and a little piece of bread if you were lucky enough to have that, filled with sawdust. Okay.
Mornings there was no prayer.
Okay. I'm going to say this now. There are. We're going to be hearing Mr. Abelis's experiences today. Okay, there are many different survivors who have different experiences, of course, in one camp. So we're going to be hearing a number of different ideas. And then you have to get yourself off to work after the moment. So what about coming in here? Why would people even bother washing? Doesn't make sense. We just learned about the longest vocal in our church. How long? Do you remember? 18 hours. Well, you're going to have to urinate on yourself. There's no police going to go to the toilet. It doesn't work. 18 hours they stood there. So what's the point of coming in and washing? If you want, this was the most fundamental fight of a prisoner inside of Birkenau. And I've met a number of Holocaust survivors who told me all the same thing after watching different movies. To watch a Hungarian movie that came out called Fateless. Fateless deals with the psyche of how a Holocaust survivor has to put mind over matter. To take off your shirt and wash and pretend that you've got teeth still in your mouth if you happen to have them smashed out by a capo, by a block elder, or a work gang elder, or the SS, or whoever else, and take your finger and pretend it's a toothbrush. What are you doing? You're staying human. You're staying human. But then they come to the toilet. Now I know, and I'm being crude, but you know that men are different when they go to the bathroom than women are. But you sit down on the toilet, and you sit down, and your leg touches the next person. That's how close we are. And because so many people in Birkenau, especially in 43, okay, the Poles who had it really terrible at that time, 43, they had terrible dysentery. So your body, you sit down on the toilet, your body sends a message from your bowel area to your brain that you're in the bathroom, you can go to the toilet. All of a sudden, the capo comes in with his baton, swipes it over the top of your head. Where do you think you are, in a spa? Guess what? While you're in the middle. While you sew your uniform. Can you go and change it? No. Can you go and get a shower? No. And even though there were work gangs that went and showered more frequently than others, there were work gangs that didn't do that. And there were people that showered every day. Those were the people that worked in Canada, in the area where they gathered all the clothes and all the goods together. These things which seem to us just a basic toilet, they are places where death happens. There will be people there everywhere in that place. But when they came to clean them out, the Shyster gang as they were called, over here, when they came to clean them out in the morning, they would find different things inside toilets. And more so in the wooden area toilets than these ones over here. where capos would drown their victims in human waste. And we know the cases from here and from Majdanek and from so many other places where that's the case. But then we get to a story of a woman called Elstree. And Elstree arrives in Auschwitz and she's pregnant. Happily married, first child, beautiful. And Elstree arrives here, she's pregnant. She gets interned into the camp. They don't notice her pregnancy, thankfully, because we know pregnant women went where? To the gas chambers. Useless. She gets interned into the camp and she tells her friends around her how happy that she is because she's got her husband living inside of her. And Elstree and their friends have his white face, they don't know what to do, how to tell her. But they call Dr. Giselle Perl, who is another doctor in Auschwitz. She's a Jewish doctor, not the type of doctor like Mengele, if you want to call him a doctor. And the 24 henchmen, it's all said the same thing. And Giselle Perl arrives, Dr. Giselle Perl arrives, feels and says, when the time has come, I'm going to come and take you, Elstree, but it's not really pleasant. Elstree goes into labour, and Dr. Giselle Perl takes her to the only place which is safe to be able to deliver a baby, and that's the latrines, toilet floor. Smuggles her over to the toilet floor, and she says to Elstree Maggid, you are not to look at your baby. She delivers the baby, the pain is excruciating, and she probably thought she was going to be in a nice white bed, sheets, and she's on the toilet floor. And Elstree Maggid delivers the baby, cuts the umbilical cord. Elstree Maggid gets a glimpse of her baby even though Giselle Perl told her not to. And Elstree Maggid pulls out the baby and screams out, a life for a life! And she takes the baby and she drowns it in the latrine. This is a life that I'm taking, so you, Elstree Maggid, can live. Go and live. You can't survive with your baby. After the war, she survives, Elstree Maggid. And Elstree Maggid is walking in Brooklyn, remarried, pregnant again. She's looking for a gynecologist. All of a sudden she comes across a office and it says, Dr. Giselle Perl, gynecologist. She goes into the office, and in the office, before she gets to open her mouth, Dr. Giselle Perl says to her, Elstree Maggid, so you survived too. She decides that she wants Giselle Perl she should be the one that should deliver the baby. This comes in Mount Sinai Hospital in New York, in a sterilized room. And as she delivers the baby, she screams out, a life for a life! A life that I took, to a life that I'm giving back to the world. Giselle Perl continues to deliver babies in Mount Sinai, and then finally in Shari Tzedek in Yerushalayim, where she's the head of gynecology. And she delivers thousands of babies back to the world, each time with the same scream. A life for a life. So people found here babies. One day the Shasta gang come and they're told they're going to have to clean this out. They take out their buckets to be able to clean it out. They go towards the area over there where the trucks were to be able to take it off the filtration process. And this time there's an SS guard here, told to us by the book called The Survivor. There's an SS guard there, and he says, the mutzen off, take your caps off, and take your shirts off. What can they do? One of the SS has got a revolver and they can't do anything, so they do this. And they come to this place over here, and he says, put your buckets down at the door, and they put their buckets down at the door. He says, today we do it with our hats. And they put their hats in, and carry their hats towards the door, full of human waste. And as they get to the door, before they put it on the truck, the man says to them, mutzen on, put your caps on. And they look at him as in total shock. But they know they've got no other choice. And so they put it on. There is not one survivor left of that particular Shasta gang, because it all died of the devil. What seems to be just a basic place of the toilet. This is your entrance into Birkenau. Normality, there isn't any here. Nothing like it. Things that we think are the most simple things that we should be able to do easily, that wasn't the case when it came to Birkenau.
nothing was simple. Nothing was the way it seemed. Nothing where it was the way it was outside. This was a totally different experience. And if you want, you can remember from the first line of Schindler's List, one of the first lines where they're sitting down and they're eating after Schindler sort of manages to get the SS to like it. And one of the SS turns to the other SS and goes, you know what, those Jews, they've survived the Greeks, they've survived the Romans, the Babylonians. And the other SS guard turns to him and his friend and says, yeah, but they've never met the SS. The SS is completely different.